For what value of n is the absolute value of n minus 1 plus 1 equal to 0? This is a perfect time to actually use the answer choices and work backwards. So I'm going to copy this. That here. All right, let's make this a little bit smaller. So we can actually just use the answer choices and put the answer choices in for n to see which one equals 0. So instead of n for here, let's just put 0n. So the absolute value of 0 minus 1, well, 0 minus 1 is negative 1. So the absolute value, so this would be negative 1, the absolute value signs, plus 1. The absolute value of negative 1 is 1, and 1 plus 1 is 2. So that doesn't equal 0, so we can get rid of A. Now let's try B. So instead of n, let's put 1 in there. So the absolute value of 1 minus 1 is 0, and the absolute value of 0 is 0. So 0 plus 1 equals 1, and that does not equal 0. So we can get rid of that. Now let's try 2. So instead of this n, we'll put a 2 here. The absolute value of 2 minus 1 is 1, and the absolute value of 1 is also 1. So that's like putting the absolute value of 1 plus 1. Absolute value of 1 is 1, so 1 plus 1 equals 2. And that does not equal to 0. So if A, B, and C doesn't work, then we're left with D. There's no such value of n. We can also do this on our calculators. So if you have a TI scientific calculator, TI 82, 84, 85, whatever, you can do this too. So I'll show you how. So go to Math, scroll over to Num, and the ABS is absolute value. So you could try 0 minus 1, move over to get out of the absolute values, plus 1, that equals 2, so that doesn't equal 0, and you can do the same thing for, whoops, that's not right. You can do the same thing for the other ones. Go to Num, absolute value, try 1 minus 1, plus 1, that equals 1, that does not equal 0 either. Then lastly, you could try C, 2. 2 minus 1 plus 1, that equals 2. So you can either figure out the absolute value by hand or use the calculator function on your TI calculator. The key is using the answer choices and working backwards. You can get rid of A, B, and C. So the only choice is D. There is no such value of n.